Have you slept? Have you eaten? Are you well? As I mentioned in my last live, a dear friend of mine starts all her vlogs each morning with those questions, and I really like them. They're very nice and kind and gentle, aren't they? It's nice to not just check in on each other from time to time, but, you know, just ask those questions and I guess prompt you to think about those for yourself too, I guess. So I thought I'd just come on, as I mentioned in my last live, which I did earlier today, well, a few minutes ago, I'm just going to open my can again, so excuse the noise. I only ever tend to have one of these when I'm doing these lives, you know. I haven't had one since I was last on. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so thirsty. I don't mind a nice little sugar-free soft drink while I'm doing these. Of course I should have water, but guess what? I don't. Now, in the last one I finished off this little needle book. I shared how I hide the knot to attach the little mother of pearl button. You can see there's no, I mean if you look really closely you'll be able to probably see what I've done, but you can't see where I've put the knot. I was a bit frustrated because the middle of the edge didn't line up with the middle of the basket handle. That's pushing my buttons a bit, but I'll just have to get over it. And then I showed you how I made a woven buttonhole bar as a loop to secure it with. So if you want to know how I've done that, go back to my last video and take a look. It probably won't have uploaded yet. That does take a while to upload. As I'm doing this live, I'm saying it probably won't, but if you go back later and have a look, hopefully they'll be there. So I thought I'd come on and do a bit more of my, you can join me to stitch along. It's okay, Grumpy. It's okay, Missy Moo. It's up the road, darling. I'm talking to the people on here again, okay? I said hello in the last reel and she thought that there was someone had pulled up. So she came charging out, barking her head off, thinking that there was someone here that I was talking to. I'm just putting my buttons in my tray over there so I don't lose them. Okay. Not much has been done since I last shared. Oh, before I go on. Earlier I went looking for some ecru. I couldn't find the right colour in the weight I wanted, but I wanted some crochet cotton to do the woven buttonhole bar on the needle case. And I got my box of cottons out, which doesn't have them all in there. Of course it doesn't. Why would I keep them all in the one place where I know where they are? Who would do something like that? Evidently not me. That would be the smart thing to do. Can you please stop licking the screen? What is that about? Yucky. She hasn't done that before. No, I can't remember what I was doing. When I was going through my basket of crochet cottons, I found another, now I don't remember getting this. Obviously I've had it for years. I found another, I wonder if this is the apron. Willow, please don't lick the screen. It is. It's an apron. Look at this. I do vaguely remember this. I think it was my grandmother's. She didn't get it done. So it doesn't look like linen to me. It looks like calico that it's printed on. Here's the top of the apron, the top of the bib, if you can just see that there. Here's a pocket. And then there's a beautiful, it's a birdhouse I'm assuming these would be bluebirds. It looks a little bit like a dove, that one. This one's just got a big bulbous head. And cherry blossoms possibly, so they come up. Oh, I'm going to have to stitch this one. It's beautiful. There's another bird, and then we come down the bottom here. It's lovely. You can't see that. There's a scallop here, and then two other side, and then another little sprig of flower there. Interestingly, there's not enough fabric here to do the ties, to tie it on. So if I do get this made, I'll have to stitch it. It's just stunning. What I think I will probably do is line it with a print. I might have to go and see Beck of So Be Created and see if she has a reproduction feed sack fabric, line the back with that, and then use that to make the ties as well. I think that might be a plan. My list of things I want to get done is ever growing. I also found last night these white work, cut work pieces, which I think might be too big to fit in here. I could have possibly stuck that in there before I put that on. So all I've done since you last joined me is I finished off this running stitch in here, quite messily by the looks. I've started some in here in a green. I will continue doing some of that, I think. I've got the cotton here. I'm pretty sure I used 2 strands I have, so there's 2 missing. Of course, I didn't put this away correctly, and it's all tangled. This is a demonstration on what not to do. Don't just dump it in your needle case without putting it away neatly, because this is what will happen. Oh, I don't think this has ever happened to me before. All I did was I just stuck it in there. That will teach me, won't it? I don't think this has ever happened. I don't recall it ever happening to me before. So instead of spending the next goodness knows how long trying to untangle that in front of you, I might just cut that off, I think. And we could be here for ages. Okay, here's the needle. I'm getting worse at threading needles. You know what, I've got needle threaders everywhere except for here where I need them. Oh, she's pushing buttons now. I've taught my dog to communicate with speech buttons. She only has 4 so far. She has hungry, outside, soon, and Connor's my son. And she's just told me she's hungry, but she shouldn't be. She's already been fed twice today. So I don't have much left. Goodness me, this is very messy. I stitched some of this at baseball the other day. The masters were on. And I did some stitching while I was there. And it's not very neat. And just putting my glasses on. Oh, and of course they're filthy. Oh dear me. It still looks a bit dirty. Quite like my little Kath Kidson glasses. I like this little bit. It's only on one wing. Little flower. Isn't that cute? Anyway. Glasses on. And I can't... Goodness me, I can't get them over my ears because I have a headband on. So my ears are squished. Okay, they're on. So, if you had joined me the other day, you might have seen that I don't like doing a running stitch in the traditional sense. I don't like... Hang on, I'll wait until I turn around so I can show you. You'll see that I have drawn some lines on here. If I don't, I mean, they're pretty wonky still. And Beck does encourage us to embrace the wonk. But if I don't draw lines, I end up like, it's beyond wonk. It goes all over the place. So traditionally running stitch is pretty well done, like, or even kantha stitch, like this. I don't like the look that I get when I do that. All the noisy traffic's back. So I don't like the way the stitches look. Sometimes I will do one stitch at a time, but I still don't like the way the stitches look, so I will often, and it takes forever, I prefer to just sort of do one up and down at a time. I've got something crawling on the back of my neck through my hair. So here I am telling you that this is how I prefer the look of the stitch if I do it this way. So in and out, one at a time. Can you see the difference in how well the stitches sit? I'm sorry, it's not very clear. My phone, I think I've smashed one of my lenses actually. It just won't focus. So these two stitches just here sit much neater than these ones here. I think they do. I like that look much better. And now that I'm going to all this trouble, this section from here down will potentially be cut off anyway, so probably won't see this bit after all this. So I do like the look of those stitches much better. I've got something, oh, I'm sorry, I've got something crawling in my hair and it's driving me bonkers. I'm outside. I like being outside. I like the lights better. I like the sunshine, which is nearly gone now anyway. I'm going to move that tacking stitch out of the way. Can you see that? It's going to get in the way. So now that I've told you that I don't like, I'm quite particular with the finished stitch look that I like, because this is potentially going to be cut off, I'm just going to finish it off like this now. For I just undid a bloody knot. And do you know what? A few days ago I had my, what's it called? That, my little wax pot. I can't remember what it's called. I've got two of them. Do you think I can find it today? Don't be stupid. Of course I can't, because I've put it in a safe spot. Oh, I can't remember what it's called, Needle Magic or Magic Needle or something. I do love it. It does help lessen the tangling, and it helps it conditions the thread so the thread doesn't fatigue as quickly. It's good stuff. Anyway, I do have a block of beeswax that I sometimes use. I had it earlier. Of course, I've left it inside. Just regular old beeswax. I actually got it from Bunnings, the big old block of beeswax that I use. I think it was in the furniture, the seals and finishes section. I've had it for years. It's a massive block of wax. It's about that big. So I could potentially just cut it up and share it with everyone I know. But I like the thread conditioner one better. It's softer. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They still do a very similar job. I'm just trying to pull that tacking stitch out now because it's in the way of where I want to stitch. And again, if you're wondering, if you've only just joined me and you're wondering why I've done all these tacking stitches, it's because a couple of reasons really. That's the tail that I didn't cut off the other day. I don't like to use a hoop when I'm doing this, and if I don't use a hoop, I have more potential to have my work pucker. So I spend time tacking everything down, and yes, doing collage like this, I will untack and tack and untack and tack several times. You can see here I've untacked this bit so I could stitch this piece down. So I'll have to tack that back down again. But I do that for my own peace of mind because I prefer the finish I get. I ensure that it all sits nice and flat and evenly. Not much to go. Okay, because this bit will potentially be cut off, I'm not going to worry about hiding my tie-off knot. I'm just going to come through to the back and tie it off. Snip that off. You can see I've got tacking stitches everywhere, little bits of tails and things everywhere, which I need to keep an eye on. Okay. Now, I need to do this piece of fabric now. I haven't decided which colour to do it. I did pick these two out. 3, that one, that one. I did want to use like a cotton embroidered or something, but I don't have any in the right colour. Oh, goodness me. Excuse me, please. My stomach, goodness. So, that could be a bit light. That one's not too bad, actually. It's a bit, I don't know. Actually, I think I like the second one better. Oh, here goes my stomach again. Goodness me, what on earth? It's probably because I haven't eaten. Okay. Now, what I've done is, I can feel my stomach about to go again. This rain stitch I've done is going in this direction, up and down. The green one I've gone across, and I think I'll go across with this one as well, because I like to try and contrast them when I can. So to do that, I don't feel like that's straight, but I've tried to straighten it several times. Now I'm just wondering, I should really undo all this tacking so I can stitch under it. But I don't know if I want to undo it again. I've already undone this side 3 times now. If I keep undoing it and tacking it again, I'm going to wear holes in that. It's vintage fabric. I don't want to wear holes in it. So I might just stitch up to it. I'm just drawing some lines on my fabric so I've got something to follow. Otherwise it will be as straight as a dog's hind leg. I'm not really using much to go off, except I am trying to line up this edge here. It's not perfect, that's for sure. It's just giving me some guidelines to try and keep my stitches a bit straighter than they would if I didn't. I used to follow the warp and the weft of the fabric, but my eyesight is just not up to that anymore. So I like to draw lines. I don't have to do anything. None of us have to do anything. But I do like to have lines to follow. If you're worried about me using a biro, yes, I am using a biro, but I will start by saying I used to buy the correct markers, the vanishing ones, and last time I bought one, which was, gee, the quilt shop, the Quilters Hive used to still be in it. Georgetown back then, so it's a long time ago. Probably at least 6 or 7 years ago, maybe longer. The last time I bought one, I paid over $20 for one pen. And I don't know about you, but I can't afford to spend that sort of money on fabric marking pens these days. So, like most of us do, I try to save money. Oh, that bloody car. Try to save money wherever I can. When I was teaching, I discovered that I just discovered this through trial and error, because I tried to work out why do friction markers rub out. And friction, of course, heat. So I decided to try the iron to see if that worked, and to my delight, it did. So I've been using friction markers ever since, and I used to buy them from, I think, Big W for less than $2 a pen, and that's all I've ever used since. They're not that cheap now. I got a pack of 3 for about $12 the other day, but it's still a lot better than $20-something for one. So I'm just using a friction marker. When I've got all my stitches in place, I will iron it and the ink will disappear. So there we go. I'm just going to use 2 strands again. It's getting a bit, the sun's going down, so you guys may have trouble seeing what I'm doing now, which is a pain in the bum. My ring light's broken. My dog went charging past it a few weeks ago and snapped the charging cable off it. Clean off, can't be fixed. So one day soon I'll have to save up and buy a new one, because I can't do any filming inside at the moment because it's just too dark. Just doing a quilter's knot. I'd love it if you'd like to join me and do your own vintage collage stitch along. You can tag me at Gladys and Maude, or do hashtag, I don't know, I haven't worked out yet, vintage stitch along maybe, I don't know. I'll have to have a look and see what's available. Now, even though that's been tacked down, I haven't brought it right up into that corner, so it's opening up. So until I get up there, I'm just going to stick a pin in there. Try and hold that in place. And of course, this is not an original idea. I've been inspired by the work of Beck of So Be Creative, Kate in the Nest, the Roxy Creations, the Roxburgh family, Fleur Woods as well. There's quite a few artists. I've probably missed some. There are a few artists that have inspired this. It's not an original idea, this vintage collage. But it would be great if you haven't done one. Even if you have, tag me and join in, and we'll do some stitch along together. I don't know about you, but I used to go to stitching groups regularly. Every Friday I had Guild on one fortnight, and then the off week I had my local embroidery group. And then on Tuesdays I used to do, not all the time, but was a guest lecturer at the U3A from time to time. I also used to teach at an art studio, and I taught for the WEA for a few years as well. I don't do that I don't do any of those anymore. Since COVID, a lot of that has stopped, and I was lucky enough to be invited to join Beck's stitching group on I think it was a Tuesday coming up when she moves into her new shop. I'm hopeful that I will be able to join in. At the moment, even though she's not set up yet, I can't join in because I'm doing rehab. I do hydrotherapy and physiotherapy, exercise physiology twice a week at the moment. So it's not an option for me, even if she did have her group running, to join in yet. So I really miss it. So I thought it might be fun to see if anyone would like to join in online. We can do some stitch-alongs together. It encourages me to keep going, and maybe it might encourage you to. It might encourage you to try something new. There may be something that I show that you haven't learned before. I don't know. I'm still learning myself. I have been stitching for a long time. I think I started stitching when I was about 4 or 5, and I've been teaching since I was about 21. So it's been a long time. That's my son calling. If I hang up on him, he'll have a panic and think that I've had another fall or something. So I may have to end this live and give him a call back so he doesn't have a big panic. Let's see, maybe I can keep going a little bit longer. No, I probably should go and take this call. I've had a couple of falls, and he does try and check on me regularly, and if I don't answer, he gets a bit concerned. So I might end this little stitch along short. I usually try and go for at least an hour. We've only hit half an hour, but I hope that you may consider joining in and having a bit of a stitch along with me as we go. Thank you for joining me. He's calling back, so I'm gonna sign off and say thanks again, and I'll be back again. All right.